It's a whole lot of mighty shit going on. Shout out to all them vice lords across, especially my boy King Town and Lord D2. Yeah. V-I-C-E-L-O-R-D, V-I-C-E-L-O-R. Yes, mighty. Put that on the fire. 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 Look at it. V-I-C-E-L-O-R-D, V-I-C-E-L-O-R. Yes, mighty. Put that on the fire. 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 Look at it. M-I-C-I, drug, conservative, traveler, now we all use mighty. I rock with my brothers, I never deny. You forward them flowers, somebody gon' die. I come as I am, forever remain. I'm about to die, that ain't never gon' change. Brain in rotation, this type of a change. Shout out, little boy, pragmatic, and love to the king. I'm pushing your dream, I was born for this, I was made for this. And I put that on the fire, and you beat it going live. I be throwing up the fire. My brother slide, I'm slide. And I put that on the fire. Fuck a hater, crucified. You cannot see without the eye. 22 12 to the day that I die. I'm by you like I'm Charlie Man. Black and go to the soul, nigga, that's a fact. Yo, V-I-C-E-L-O-R-D, V-I-C-E-L-O-R. Yes, mighty. Put that on the fire. 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 Look at it. V-I-C-E-L-O-R-D, V-I-C-E-L-O-R. Yes, mighty. Put that on the fire. 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 Look at it.
But there is sacrifices that will have to be made. You understand? I might very well lose my life because I'm sick of it too. And this is one of the reasons that we're doing the things that we're doing here today and trying to create.
V-I-C-E-L-O-R-D, V-I-C-E-L-O-R. Yes, mighty. Put that on the fire. 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 Look at it.
Start. Blessings, peace and blessing. We ready? I don't know. Rook is.
We on, Mark.
Mighty. Welcome to another show of the Golden Star Podcast. I'm the host, Lord Osiris, and today we bring to you another show. And today's show is going to be about, of course, where I was talking about how to uplift the nation and what components and elements and strategies and things of that nature to kind of take the nation to the next level of the playing field. Today's show the topic is there a such thing as the AVLN? Is there a such thing as the Almighty Vice Lord Nation? And if so, how do we recognize it? How do we point it out? Or what identifies it? And we have several brothers on. So I'm going to let them brothers introduce themselves. Peace.
Peace, beloved. Brother Marcus. Almighty.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Brother Ghost. Mighty.
Palms up, happy holy divine day to the multitude. Lord, man, see is mighty.
Mighty. So the question is, or the topic of the discussion is there an AVLN? Is there an Almighty Vice Lord Nation? With the the things that have transpired throughout time, from what we know of history, and when I speak of history, I'm saying the particular history in which Bobby Gore and all them brothers of that time period, and what they did in order to see that the nation was in a position that it needs to be in order to benefit the brothers who were representing the nation, versus what we see today. And so we're looking at that and analyzing and looking through the lens of history, and then we see what's going on today. That's where this topic sprang. That's how this topic come about, through that discussion. And so again, I asked the question: Is there an Almighty Vice Lord Nation? I mean, is there any brothers who actually stand on that foundation in moving forward? Because in order for us to get to the, I guess you could say, get to the point to where we can actually to build the nation, we have to answer them type of questions, because them are the questions that put us in the best position, the best playing field position. Because if we can't recognize that, then we're going to keep running into these dead end situations that we run into. And so, I mean, I'm gonna open the floor. Is there an AVLN? Is there really an AVLN? Mighty.
One of you brothers want to speak on that?
I believe I can speak to that. I believe that we see it manifested through actions and deeds, and by the way that we walk. I live in Arizona, so if somebody notices any of that ism on me, and I tell them, well, I'm a maniac, four corner hustler, they'll ask me, what's that? And I tell them, we're part of the Almighty Vice Lord Nation. Oh, so it's recognized, it's heard of, above my branch, and most likely above all other branches as well, because that speaks to the whole tree as a whole.
But is that, let me interject. Is that really what I mean, just because I'm in Texas, you know what I'm saying? There's probably 1 million vice stores down here, but you run across, I guess we could say, neutrals, and you ask them, like, they're like, damn, vice stores exist in Texas? You're like, yeah, because I've act like I'm in Dallas. I come across people all the time. They see me rocking this, or I have a 5-point star on or whatever, or I'm talking to somebody and they're like, man, your terminology is vice lord. Like, damn, vice lords in Texas, like, they never heard of VL. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, when we talk about a nation, we're talking about, when you mention the Nation of Islam, you automatically, there's an idea that comes to mind, whether you disagree with them or not. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about whether they right or wrong or whatever, good or bad. We're saying, when you say Nation of Islam, there's an ideal that comes to mind, right? Or when you see a brother with a bow tie on standing on the street corner, you automatically, Nation of Islam. It's identified. You know what I'm saying? So we're not talking about in name. I guess we're not talking about in name. We're talking about in function, right? Because, I mean, you'll see a brother walking down the street, he got a blue flag on, you'll think he a Crip. He might not be a Crip, but because the blue flags are associated with Crips and red flags are associated with Bloods, you assume them to be that, right? So likewise, even with us saying that we vice lord, I mean, there's something that you can assume that's who we are, but we're not talking about just because somebody knows that, oh, okay, you're maniac, four-corner hustler because you said it. We're talking about an actual, when we're dealing with people, there's a function that identifies, oh, okay, them are vice lords. You know what I'm saying? So
definitely. Yeah. I understand. I understand what you're getting at. And for a fully, like, by definition, function at the nation is where's the temple at? Where's the meeting places?
Right. Right.
The formal structure of that. Back in when there's a lot of brothers saying that, that ain't the demo no more, and this and that and the other, and that goes back to a history where a lot of people during that they call it the cocaine war eras, right? Went their own way to take care of self and everything. We're a generation that lived through that, and we're coming out of that at the same time. We know what it's supposed to be like. You know what I mean? Any type of formal structure function would have to be established at this point, because I don't know of anywhere in America where it's established under that banner.
But you're talking about Viceroy,
right? Pardon, body. Excuse me.
You said AVLN, right?
Yep. As by that name, and that name alone, I don't know anywhere in America that demonstrates just like that. Where all brothers from different houses come sit down under that flag. We're doing it right here, right? You know what I'm saying? But like where can we check in at any city around the country and do that at? I don't believe that's existent. I can't say if it is.
Man, I see you thinking. What's up?
No, I know that there's a AVLN. Obviously, I'm a part of it. You know what I'm talking about? So the evidence is me. I'm a part of the AVLN. I took a sworn oath to the AVLN, even though I'm from the conservative precinct. But I think the proof outside of ourselves seeing it, I can show you a negative situation, not even positive, something negative that identifies there's an AVLN. I'm locked up in Mississippi prison system. We have an altercation with another group of people that are not vice lords, and you know what they don't say? They don't say, "Man, I just got into it with this 9."
Right.
Man, we got an issue with the vice lords. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So people outside of vice lord identify the AVLN. No one's concerned about our precinct other than us.
Well, okay. Well, let me say this. I'm not. Let me interject. I'm not
I
saying.
draw, brother. I draw.
Okay,
I'm finna get to it. Yeah, AVLN exists right there in Mississippi. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It exists right there in Mississippi. I'm telling you where it exists. I'm telling you where you can find it. Is it 1,000% authentic as it should be? No, it's a shell of itself. But it does exist, and I can show it to you. And the reason being, that's the one state that I've been a lot of places. That's the one state where, whether you're inside or outside, everybody in every position from every precinct, I can get them on this phone. That only happens when you're in tune and moving as a functioning body. That don't even happen without that. So you'll have guys in the same city that don't even have each other's number, don't even communicate with each other. That's not really that so in the state of Mississippi a lot of times, and I hate to try to separate it by states or by city, because that's not what we're here for. But when we go to looking for the evidence of it, I can show you where you can start. Yeah, right there in Mississippi, you can start looking for it. It's there. But it's not in totality.
Right.
It's not in totality. And being as such, it's pointless to even have it if it ain't in totality. It's pointless. You know what I'm talking about? Because now anything that's out of the original form, then it's no good to you. It's the car without the motor. I mean, yeah, you could tell me about the 63 Corvette in the garage that ain't ran since 65. It's the motor shot, but but yeah, you're just speaking on it. It's not a car. So
okay,
it's one of
those. Let me ask this, because you travel a lot, and I know you done seen a lot. You done, especially a lot of brothers, a lot of decks. In your experience, do you think that we can reach the position, and when I say position, I mean politically, socially, economically, and spiritually, but not in the spiritual sense of religion. I mean, when I say spirit, when I speak of spiritual, I'm saying more along the moral lines. The lines that says that because I took an oath, that oath in taking that oath, I'm holding to the integrity of that oath to do what I do in the name of that oath in which I took. So that's when I say spiritual, that's when I'm speaking. So where we can reach the peak of where we see like the Nation of Islam or like these organizations that have a position in the community and are really moving things, and we're not talking in a negative sense, that are really moving things. You know, when you join these type of organizations, there's a benefit in joining, and not so much a benefit, that's why I'm joining, but because when you join an organization, there's one main reason why you join an organization, because it enhances who you are as a person, because now you got a collective body that thinks along the same lines that you think, and it just makes like they say, teamwork. Together we all can achieve more. You know what I'm saying? So basically, absolutely. So do you see AVLN in that light, or can it become that light? Can it reach that?
Well, yeah, it can. It's not there now, but it can. And the reason I say this is the core structure. Whether you agree with the literature that was written and put in place for Vice Lord or not, one of the most common practices of books that we have is the AOL. Well, the AOL has a piece that's called the misrepresentation of Vice Lord. And the misrepresentation of Vice Lord closes saying that we were formulated as a group to absolutely change the condition of ourselves. You know what I'm talking about, from a political standpoint, from a religious standpoint, and so forth and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So anytime that you can find a book that's been written for a people, man, that is a mechanism, that is a guideline, that is something that we must all adhere to. It speaks of that in the 22 laws, that we would adhere to that. So yeah, it can be. But the Kumbaya experience, I always speak to that. The Kumbaya experience, it has failed us horribly, and it will continue to be our Achilles heel until we figure out what to do about that. Then we won't be able to fix the structure of the AVLN. We continue to say, like-minded people, iron sharp as iron. Well, why is iron still rubbing itself against wood nickels then? You see what I'm saying? Iron ain't got no business rubbing itself against a wood nickel.
So I heard you say that before. This Kumbaya experience, can you break that down to me? Explain what you mean by that.
Well, the Kumbaya experience is the false pretense that everybody saying Vice Lord is Vice Lord. You see what I'm saying? Right. Law teaches us that everybody ain't Vice Lord. They say they Vice Lord. Law teaches us that many are called, but few are chosen. Like I say, coming from the foundation prayer, it speaks about fallen lame and being ground to dust. Also, law teaches us about the cocoon. You know, talking about the caterpillar stuck in the cocoon that'll never become a butterfly. You know, this is speaking about something. This isn't my personal opinion. This is written in black and white. We was given a guideline to identify our people with. What we find in the Kumbaya experience is we draw in the lowest form of Lordism. There's 5 different aspects. And the lowest form of Lordism is the physical aspect, throwing up Vice Lord. Everybody can do that. That's the lowest form of it. That's so easy to do. And we get caught up in that. Oh, that's a brother, that's a sister. He mighty, he righteous, he this or that. Everybody that like your Facebook page isn't righteous. Right. Yeah, we got to stop the Kumbaya experience. Okay. We got to get with the like-minded people, the people that are out here openly pushing and promote Vice Lord, not saying it and then going on the other side of town and doing some other stuff behind your back. I'm talking about in the face of nobody, not everybody, in the face of nobody, standing on Vice Lord. That's how we're gonna get back to the AVLN.
So let me ask this too. Let me say this. Okay, so we have 2 types of Vice Lords. Then we have. I'm not saying that's what you're saying. This is just an interpretation. So we have those who say they VL and those who are actually being VL. So those who say they VL and those who are demonstrating Vice Lord, how do you remove one element? What are the necessities to, because it seems like every time a brother who is capable of moving the people, whether it be physically, and I mean physically is creating a deck to where everybody's organized, and then mentally where the brother can elevate the brothers to the next level of the playing field. Because we all understand that at some point in time, we have to be, I remember Ben Ali saying that when he was locked up, right? That a brother came in, and I paraphrase because I don't remember exactly how he said it, that a brother came in and he said something telling the brother go out the dome. teach me. And the brother couldn't. He told the brother to sit on his hands. He said back then that meant that he sat him down, because if you can't teach these people here, then what are you in your elite position for? So what I'm saying is that, so to bring these brothers that are able to bring brothers mentally up, they're the ones that's outcasted. They're the ones that are, because I've heard they're the ones that they call bogus, or they're the ones that say, oh, he ain't official, because you go to Chicago don't necessarily mean you're official.
Absolutely. I think with that, and then I let one of the other brothers chime in. I definitely don't want to overtake the conversation when these brothers have their voice to be heard as well. But with what you're speaking of now is we can't continue to try to remove them from the situation, bro. We can't remove no one from that. I think that's the wrong approach. My personal opinion is the like-minded people must remove self. You go back to biblical terms, Moses didn't ask Pharaoh to leave. He got the people and he left. See what I'm saying? He left. We ain't gonna ask the people to leave. We'll separate ourselves. You see what I'm saying? So we ain't gotta say, oh, we gonna move them out the way. No, we'll get together with the people, the like-minded people. We'll move ourselves out the way. In my personal opinion, that's the approach. Another instance that you could go back to in biblical terms was the whole thing with the Sodom and Gomorrah and Lot. Lot left. His wife looked back, turned to salt. Everyone must separate themselves from the cancer. It's that simple.
Mighty. Ghost, Mark, what's up? Ghost, Mark, what's up?
It's like this. We all pushing for the same thing.
Now, I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with that?
Nope.
I say
supposed to be. Supposed to.
Look.
And you don't agree with it either.
look. Pause. I was talking about us.
Oh, okay. All right.
I said we all agree. We all on the same thing. I smiled first and then I said,
right.
Now I said that to say this. Man, see, right. It's a lot of us out here that's like-minded, right? What we gonna do about it?
I mean, but I'm saying we are. See, the object is, right now we are thought provokers.
No, we ain't.
See, hold up.
No, we ain't.
No, listen.
Planting seeds.
Huh?
Hey, look, it's already there. Man, see, keep saying the same thing I'm saying. It's in the AOL. It's already there. That's the
no. I'm agreeing. I'm saying us,
right.
The podcast, and what we organized to do is we're what you would call thought provokers. Cause see, the thing is, we're in a dead sea, right? We're in stagnated water, right? Somewhere down the line, you, myself, Main C, Marcus, and brothers that are like us, they like, hey man, this ain't VL ain't like this. Now, as I told y'all before, I didn't get VL from a street perspective. When I came in, you know what I'm saying? When I came in amongst there. I mean, the brother that introduced me to it was the imam. His name was Malik Shabazz. The brother that brought me in was named Israel. And these brothers was like, hey man, we ain't on no street stuff. We're not forever trying to be dope dealers. You know what I'm saying? You need to learn this. So I learned that. You need to learn this. I learned that. You need to learn this. I learned that, and kept learning. But what I'm saying is, what I'm getting at, we in a stagnated water, and we realize that, hey, at one point we step back, we say, hey man, this ain't what I've been reading. Because when I got out, I felt like I got lied to. I was like, man, all this, because in prison and being locked up, it don't run nothing like this in society. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? In Texas, I ain't never been to worse, but I'm saying in Texas, it don't run like this in society. In Texas, it's you gonna get dealt with. And I'm sure Mississippi, I heard about Mississippi too, but that's neither here nor there. So what I'm saying is we're in this stagnated water, and we're looking like, hey man, this water stinks. And it's beginning to get off on me. So let me separate myself, get out, and step back and see what's going on. So now we know what's going on. So the thing is, we're producing the content, or we're producing the idea to get brothers to think, hey man, stop. Look what you're doing. Look at the nation for what it is and what it can be. I was looking at a documentary dealing with Bobby Gore. He was walking down Lawndale, shaking his head as he was in shame. And in my mind, I'm like, man, this dude did all this time for nothing. I met his wife. I went to Mississippi when they had the funeral. They had I want to say a second funeral, so to speak, a get together. King Rio was there. What's the brother name? This Son Giada, and a few other brothers, a whole bunch of different other houses that were there for Bobby Gore. And I talked to his wife, and his wife was like, she was like upset. She was really upset. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, because we fail, we've fallen. And so now brothers like us are saying, hey man, we need to get back to where we at. And so how are we going to do that? So we got to create something to spark the intellect. I always say this, the same level of intelligence that created the problem cannot be the same level of intelligence that solved the problem. We came into the problem. We're not the problem. We came into the problem. So why I'm saying that we're not. When people say our minds are for the same cause, efforts for the same goals, lives for a new nation, that is a lie. When you're pushing for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, there's only you. We naturally understand what love is. We naturally understand what truth is. We naturally understand all these concepts and ideas. And when it's going against us, especially if it's one of ours, then there's two forces that's clashing. So one of us is not pushing for the same cause. We're not striving for the same thing. Because if we are, we wouldn't be in the state of condition that we in today. So when a brother tells us that and his actions don't show that, you can't produce anything. You can't produce anything to show me that we're pushing exactly alike. Meaning, if you're doing something in Mississippi and I'm doing something in Texas, or if I am who I say I am and you are who you say you are, then eventually we're going to meet up. Eventually, it's going to come full circle to where we can tap in, or where we can share some type of resources, where we can collaborate on some type of level to show that we're going to this level of the game. So as a whole, we can't say that. That's why I'm saying, no, it's not. That's not true. Some of us are lying. Some of us took that oath just because it was something to do. And I'm going to leave it at this. Out of 100 penitentiaries in Texas, and I pride myself on this, out of 100 penitentiaries in Texas, I've met brothers who say, in prison, say, man, when I get out, I'm going to push VL. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Get out, don't hear nothing about it. I did 15 years, didn't hear nothing about it. I get out, meet these same brothers. They don't do vice, Lord. Man, I've been pushing VL since I got out. I've fallen. I made a lot of mistakes, but I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, I'm saying that our minds are for the same cause, efforts for the same goals is not true. The vast majority who make that statement, you sit back and analyze their actions, it's not true.
It is true, brother. And I'm gonna say this, because the only thing you got to do is find another brother that's pushing just like yourself in whatever likely you think light you think you're pushing in, and there go the truth in it. If it's just y'all too, there go the truth in it. What you're speaking on is the kumbaya experience. You absolutely right. It's not true in the kumbaya. You absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, but the only thing you got to do is just find one more just like you, and y'all can bear witness to the truth of it.
That type of energy is going to attract itself. It's also going to attract what opposes it too, at times. Throughout, man, just to bring you up to speed on like my experience and all this, I had an aha moment where I sat back and I said, hold on, we're not supposed to be fucking living like this. Right. This is contrary to love, peace, truth, freedom, and justice. What are the definitions of these words? And then I'd get a dictionary. And I sit down with some of the brothers. This is the definitions of these words. What are we doing that's for that? Or what are we doing that's contrary to that? For every single thing that we're doing contrary to that, we off our square. I had an aha moment. Probably, I want to say a good 85 to 90% of us had that same aha moment. The other percent are doing big time in the joint. One of them's doing life, like until he died. You know what I mean? A lot of us said exactly that. That water stank. I'm getting out of there. I know one of the brothers. He sells his own breed of miniature pit bulls and shit, miniature bullies and shit. I know other brothers that work for security corporations. I know other brothers that are into politics and activism and stuff. Everybody taking care of their family and stuff, and leading by example, and that leads by attraction. So I always tell people that you know, when I was doing bad, I was on drugs and every fucking thing, and I didn't yell Vice Lord or 4CH or nothing when I was doing that shit. Of course not, you know. But me getting introduced to two things snapped me out of that shit, and it was the 10-point program from the Black Panther Party and Lordism, and that saved my life to help me raise a little girl by myself, pay my bills, not risk my life doing it, and be a positive example in the community that other people want to imitate. You know, they say a righteous vice lord is a light in the dark world. And that light, it attracts though. It attracts. The stagnation is there just staying at that point. I have this urge, like my ancestors is telling me, time to push forward. You don't stay in the 10th grade forever, right? Or the 11th grade, you don't stay in high school forever. As you know, my birthday's coming up next week. I'm 44. So I go through this. This is like my New Year's and everything. And this is kind of like this is my growing season this week, so to speak. My awareness, I notice, gets a little bit more acute, you know, the older I get and stuff. And I look at that. Yo, if I'm gonna tell everybody something. You apply that to your life, right? Just like they say, apply the word of God to your life. And lean not on your own understanding, right? Apply that math to your life. And I don't care how low you are, like what you're doing in your life, it'll get you together because it's designed to do exactly that. It's a formula for that. And like I left Minneapolis 7 years ago. Yo, I look back at me looking back at home from where I was at. It's crazy from the outside looking in, and I get to watch and learn so much from it. You know what I mean? And this side of it, I believe it's the truth. Though we're not supposed to be out here doing anything destructive to ourselves or our community, and there's a lot under that umbrella right there.
Right.
Mighty.
Yeah, mighty. That comes with accountability, bro. It's two things that you must have when it comes to being vice lord. That's responsibility and accountability, because both things will be exercised as a vice lord. You will get at some point you will be tried by both of them things, the responsibility part and the accountability part. Both of them things will try you as a vice lord. Only thing you gotta do is stick around long enough, and you'll see it become true. In most places, bro, a nation, they have what we call the police. But the police is just an extension of the law. It's a representation of the law. They're the enforcers of the law. It's one of them things I keep saying. You're riding down the street, no seatbelt on, music loud. You see a cop car. What you do? Everybody I know waste everything they got fumbling to get their radio down. And if they can't get the seatbelt on, they try to hold it. It just fake like it's on. Just holding it long enough to make it look like it's on. That's called fear of the law. Vice Lord has to get back to that. When you see the law people of Vice Lord, you have to know that you got to be in accordance with what Vice Lord talking about. That's how we're going to fix a lot of these problems, period. I don't care what problem we speak on. It's going to be fixed by the 5 high principles: love, truth, peace, and freedom. All of those are nice. But when those fail, we got some justice for you.
Right.
Yeah, we got some justice for you.
Right. I feel that. Let me. I was taught. There was a question. When I was brought in. There was some questions brother gave me. One of the questions was, "What does it mean to be a vice lord?" And the answer was responsibility, representation, realization, and respect. The vice lord has the great responsibility of teaching the truth, guiding first our people, then others to the rising truth of the Almighty. But that would only be achieved through the manifest representation of the Almighty signs and symbols, and the realization that not all nations of people will achieve this goal or work toward it, but some will oppose it. What I'm emphasizing is that the manifest representation of the Almighty signs and symbols. Basically, you said love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. These are the principles that govern life, that govern humanity. And to kind of give a symbolism or a metaphor, the water, she gives to you. That's a form of love. She gives to you. But also water can drown you too. You can die for drinking too or having too much water inside your system. So these principles are not meek. They're not meek. They apply mercy where mercy is needed, and they apply justice where justice is needed. The thing is that in that truth, it says that in that truth, in addition to that truth, it says that Allah is Lord of our salvation. Our salvation will come through the utilization of the Almighty signs and symbols, meaning the signs and symbols translate into the love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We understand the order. So if we apply, in my belief, if we apply those moral principles, again, or spiritual principles, if we apply those principles consistently within our daily, in our thoughts and actions, then we can eliminate a lot of the stuff. Because I tell a brother all the time, I don't care how many teachings you got. I don't care how many vice lord oaths you take. If you are an immoral person, you took an oath and you're still immoral. You're going to still be a fucked up dude. I don't care how many oaths you take. I don't care how many Bibles, Qurans you swear upon. If you are fractured, then everything else you do after that is
right.
Your foundation is no good. I mean, everything else you build from that is trash. Because you just, I mean, I could be y'all's brother and say I'm y'all's brother, took the same oath, but I steal from y'all.
Key word is application.
Right.
Key word is application. The application of it, because simply learning it isn't enough. Being able to memorize it isn't enough. You have to become the living manifestation of it. So not only does it do you some good, but the people around you, it has to do them some good. You know, to my once again, reverting back to the AOL. The AOL revert to it as a crown and glory.
What they say, UEs are the best of their kind.
Yeah, the best of your kind. Yes, sir. But not even beyond that, brother. Even beyond the UE part. And the reason I say this is this: UE is just a title, bro. It's simply a poster hole.
Right.
As a vice lord, you took your oath as a vice lord. You see what I'm saying? And there's nothing greater than a righteous representation of that. You see what I'm saying? One righteous representative carries way more weight than 100 bogus cheese, bro.
Right.
One righteous representative.
Agreed.
You see what I'm saying? So we got to get to being the representative of what we saying. Cause see, the thing about vice lord, bro, and from the religion aspect of it, is, bro, we put ISM or IZM on the end of that. That changes the game when you put ism behind it. It changes. It changes. That was done for a purpose, bro. That was done for a purpose. So when you speak of the Nation of Islam, it's a whole other different groups that I can speak to. When you speak to the people and you speak about their core leadership, whether they agree with each other or disagree, they got one name to give you.
Right.
Vice Lord all over the place. Everybody that made Stowe in the county jail chief. See what I'm saying? We, the people, have to fix those internal problems. And the reason being, because Vice Lord was meant for us to do the world some good, brother.
Right.
It was given to us to be able to go out and do the world some good. We became Vice Lord. You think we became a Vice Lord to die a Vice Lord? No, sir. There's elevation in Vice Lord.
Right.
The idea is to become Lord of our vices. We don't want to die a Vice Lord. Vice Lord is one having fault. We don't want to die in fault. Vice Lord is a core principle, way of life given to us to be able to first uplift ourselves, then go out into the community, hence uplifting fallen humanity.
Right.
When we sitting here on these lines talking with these people that love to talk and do no work, bro, we not doing ourselves no justice.
Right.
We're not doing ourselves no justice. We got to get back on the Mooster King. We have to get back on it. That don't mean we're gonna be perfect. We all have flaws. We're built in that type of situation. Hence, we took the name Vice Lord. We all have flaws, but your flaw is lesser than your righteous deeds by 7 degrees according to Allah. I believe wholeheartedly in that. Yeah, I believe wholeheartedly in that. So I'm not gonna harker on what I think I know negative about you when I can visibly see you in the community doing the works of Vice Lord. Yeah, I don't care what you did over there or what Joe Blow talking about. Man, this brother out here pushing the people to the right thing. Care nothing about what you said Joe Blow did, because Joe Blow owe you $20 and he ain't seen you. I don't care nothing about that.
That's mighty. That's mighty.
Right.
Yeah, but the AVLN structure, this podcast is proof of it.
Mm-hmm.
Only one of the brothers on this podcast, and we've been on here for 3-4 weeks running now. Only one of the brothers on this podcast is from the same house that the brother that started the podcast. You see what I'm saying? The brother had the presence of mind to reach out to the body and have the body represented on here. Now, there should be more brothers from other precincts on here, but you can't hold their hand and make them come. Right. You know, I'm of the opinion that those that should be there will be there. I don't care what the situation is. Those that should be there will be there. But this right here, this podcast is the proof of the AVLN in its core essence. But now we got to take this, and when we get off of these podcasts, that can't be the end of it. What's happening on these podcasts, bro? You got to go out to the people, bro. We got to take what's happening on these podcasts. When the podcast is over and the sister in it, bro, we got to take that back to the people. Right. This is how we're going to get the AVLN on one accord. This is how. Not just simply sitting here having conversation about it, but actually putting these fruitful teachers into manifestation with the people. Because now the people looking for it, they want it. You know, there's an old adage that say, build it, they will come.
Right.
That's all you got to do. Build it. The people coming. I don't care what it is. Build it. They coming.
Yeah.
They coming. You got people never had a smoothie in their life. Start a construction site and go put Smoothie King coming soon and watch how many people be waiting on it to open up. Build it. They're going to come.
Right.
Indeed.
Hey, let me read something, man, off of what post individual. He says again, a lot of criticism. He said, I reiterate, talking about problem is a necessary in order to move forward, but the little bro in survival mode, they not going to listen to nothing that's not relevant. They're not going to listen to nothing that's not relevant to them eating. But if we show them, and create revenue, they will come together. We Almighty.
Let me answer that. Pardon, buddy. Let me answer that. First of all, we talking about what we talking about. We study every rate on this. Whatever they gonna be doing is whatever they gonna be doing. They ain't a part of us. We don't gotta say that. They open up their eyes to realize what's going on. Eventually, yeah, you can come into the fold. You still rocking up under the banner. But if we striving to do something that's to change and actually interact within society as a standing body, as a force, we don't have no time to associate ourselves with that riffraff. So what's already understood don't need to be explained. The question that's being asked, that's me, Abdul Quahar Alameen. That's me answering. Right with the rest of these brothers. We striving for something that we standing on. Everybody should be standing on.
You know, the brothers that were excuse me, the individual said a lot of criticism. I don't necessarily think. I think he's looking at it from a. No, I can't say that because I don't know how that individual is thinking. I don't think we have to understand the crux of the problem in order to know where to go from there. We know the problem. Yeah, the problem always going to be talked about. The problem is always going to be talked about. We know the problem. But the thing is, the problem has many layers. And every time we peel back a layer, there's going to be another problem. So we got to peel back that layer. There's going to be another problem. We got to peel back that layer. And that's in the flip side of that is the educating ourselves to where we don't have to keep dealing with the same problem, because we've been dealing with the same problem for a long, long time. And another thing that I've noticed about a lot of, especially Black organizations, we think we can divorce our problem as a people with the problem of the organization. The people make the organization. The organization don't make the people. You know what I'm saying? So if I had wrote to Kent, and I told him one time, I said that if we went to Mars and set up a whole nother planet, what we are, we're going to take with us. What we are morally, we're going to take with us. What we are emotionally, we're going to take with us until we correct them immorals and amorals. And that's where the criticism comes in, because we have to correct them problems in their raw state. We have to ask the questions that nobody wants to ask. We have to talk the talks that nobody wants to talk about. We have to expose the things that nobody's not exposed. People that they don't want exposed, they have to be exposed. And if we have okay, why would you take something pure and corrupt it if you're not corrupt yourself? The only time somebody would take something pure and corrupt it is if they're corrupt themselves. A liar does not like to be lied to. A cheater does not like to be cheated on. So that tells you there's a natural good in an individual or a person. You know what I'm saying? There's a natural good in a person that wants to come out. Because if I'm lying and I'm a liar, I don't like to be lied to. That tells me there's something inside me that wants the truth. You know, so what I'm getting at is, so when you tell me, bro, you're lying, and this is why you're lying, regardless of how it sounds, is it true? Yeah, you're right, bro, I am lying. Okay, so why are you lying? Well, bro, I'm scared that this might happen. Why are you scared of that? Because of so-and-so. And why does that bother you? So there's layers we have to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig and dig, but you can't do this if we not thinking, if we not understanding. It's crazy, because a lot of the understanding I had with VL came through a brother that's a 5%er. Because one time I asked him a question, I'm like, damn, man, why Black people act like this? He said, bro, what are you? I said, I'm Vice Lord. He said, search your teachings and look in your teachings and see if there's an answer to that question. Stop answering your questions based off another philosophy that you don't even demonstrate under. And I'm like, damn, you're right. Like the thing I like about Main C, you pull out of the AOL like crazy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you pull out of the AOL like crazy. And what I was given, I pull out of it. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing I'm getting at with this brother saying, yeah, we got brothers selling dope, brothers hustling. But the thing is, they don't have to do that. My brother Buck, there's more than 3,000 Vice Lords. If every person bought that brother's book, do you know where that'll put him on the book selling list? With that economical power, do you know what he can do with that book? He can create jobs. See, we don't think industrial. So if Main C got a trucking company, and let's just say, you know, hypothetically speaking, let's just say that you got 10 brothers that know of 10 companies that need people to drive trucks, and they all tell, hey man, they all get Main C the contract. Main C can't drive all them goddamn trucks. So guess what Main C can do? Hey, bro, you know how to drive a truck? Okay, well, I'm gonna train you and know how to drive a truck so that you can take these loads. Now you created jobs to these brothers, so they don't gotta sell dope now. So now we telling you, if you sell dope where Vice Lords are, you will be severely punished. Because why? Why did the mafia stay out of the cocaine business? Because it gave too much time. It was too messy. So they told their people, go look at the documentaries of the mafia. They didn't get into the cocaine business until later on, till the younger generation came about because they got greedy. But they was like, no, man, no, stay away from that. It gets too much time. It's too much time. It's too messy. You know what I'm saying? So likewise, so we talk about power. Power is the ability to control your environment consistent with your group interests. Let me say that again. Power is the ability to control your environment consistent with your group interests. So what is our group interest? Our minds are for the same cause, efforts for the same goals, lives for a new nation. So how do you create a new nation? When you look at the nation of old, what we did before gang bang selling dope, we say, no, we don't want that no more. We want our kids to be able to go down the street and not be able to get shot by either vice lords or other gang members. So Tupac said, control your community, control your neighborhood. That's where the power lies. The power lies in our community. So again, back to what I was saying, you got a brother that wrote books, that writes books. Why come 3,000 vice? You mean to tell me 3,000 vice lords don't got $22? Okay, now back to my integrity thing. The oath, the part, Lord Unity is not just coming together in kumbaya. You at a picnic. That's not Lord Unity. Just because we come together on this damn podcast, that is not Lord Unity. Unity is a function. Unity is a function. When you see a clock at work, that's a function. Every piece it's in unison. Every piece is working together to achieve one goal. One goal. When you're playing chess, every chess on the chessboard, there's different pieces, but it's to achieve one goal. That's unity in function. So all these brothers buy Lord Buck's book. He gets put on the top selling chart, which allows him to create a company, which in creating a company, he needs graphic designers, he needs editors, he needs whatever the book industry that needs people to put the book together. So who does he reach out to? Who does he reach out to? The people that put him in play. He reaches out to his people. Hey, do we got some graphic designers? Yeah. So-and-so, Infinite Mind. Okay, go get Infinite Mind. We need to get these books delivered. Do we got a brother that can deliver these books? God dang right. Man, see, he got a Sprinter van. Big truck Sprinter van. He can get somebody a Sprinter van. So we go forward, we create these revenues that empower us. So now guess what? Brother ain't gotta sell dope. So a brother gets in trouble, we got a lawyer for him. See, brothers talk the talk. Oh, we need lawyers, doctors, but there's nothing put in play to achieve that. That is not achievable. Somebody can become a lawyer. That's not achievable. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can become a lawyer.
We got to strive.
Resources, it takes finances, right? Politicians. Okay, I think politicians are snakes. Okay, but we got a person that's in the community running for governor, whatever, in the local community, and he knows that the vice lords have a number, because numbers play a part in politics. So guess what we do? We have somebody that's out front, that's articulate, well spoken. He speaks on behalf of that community for the brothers, and he lets that politician know, I will get you in office, but in return, this is what you're gonna do for the community. Because if you don't, we're gonna pull you out of office. I mean, it's simple. The mafia did it. The Italian mafias did it. The Irish community, matter of fact, in Bobby Gore's time, the Irish community did it. The same person that waged the war on gangs in Bobby Gore's time, which was Mayor Daley. If you look at the history of Mayor Daley, he was a part of a group called the Irish Thugs. When they saw the potential of that group, the Irish community organized that group, and later on, Mayor Daley became a mayor. Go look at the history if you don't believe me. So again, do we believe in the same cause? Do we represent the same nation? It goes back to what we were saying. Are we a nation? And if we are a nation, the things that we just talked about explain how a nation functions. Yeah, we might not be the United States, but in essence, we are a nation. Look up the word nation.
Yeah.
But do we function as a nation? So if to function as a nation, that means we have to function. Because if we say that we are a nation and we do opposite, then that's we're what we just talking.
Yeah, we're definitely a nation, brother. Dysfunctional one, albeit, but we're definitely a nation. And there are two things that was put into play in the 60s that made us a nation, brother. Those two things, first and foremost, you must hang a flag. We got the 10 points of the flags, 10 symbols. That was one of the drawing. Next, you must have an anthem. We have the anthem, to throw the palms to the sky, fly. Those two things incorporated us as a nation, brother.
Right, Mike.
Yep. Now there are other entities that we must get back to, because now, mind you, in the 1960s under CVL Inc., Vice Lord was in control of 18 businesses under CVL Inc. in the 1960s.
Right.
2022, we ain't got an ice cream stand.
I mean, we had the Malcolm X Foundation, we had the Tasty Tea. Well, excuse me, they had the Tasty Teas, the Malcolm X Foundation, the House of Lords, the
Lord, African Lion it was 18 different pieces under there.
Agreed. As you said before, we have a reference point to look at. So today, we must get what you said. We must get back to we must go back to the basics. Because
it's from an economical standpoint. If everybody that says they are 2212, as soon as this podcast ends, say I got $1 to donate. Do you know how much money we'll have in the morning?
$300,000.
Do you know how much money we would have to take and be able to move something in the morning if each individual had $1 when this podcast ended?
Buy some land and claim it as ours. What can they do? Nothing.
$1.
This is ours. Yes.
That's the power that we have available to us.
Right.
The problem is the unification, being under uniform. We don't have that, which is what, once again, the AOL was written in the name, amalgamation. I don't know if that name lost on people, but amalgamation means to completely unify.
Right.
To completely, there's no room for error in the amalgamation. We greatly did a disservice to that.
So
we greatly did a disservice.
Let me ask this.
And for the brother speaking earlier, that's not criticism, my brother. It's highlighting so that we may understand and know what to watch for, so that we can get away from that. I was reading that brother comment.
Okay.
I agree with him to a certain degree. I disagree when he was talking about the brothers and them eat. When I took an oath, it didn't tell me that Vice Lord would feed me. As a matter of fact, it asked me, what could I do for Vice Lord? That was the question asked to me before I was even given an oath. It never asked me, can I come and Vice Lord create a way for me to eat? Now, it goes without saying that if we put into the nation and create these situations, then quite naturally I expect to be able to eat off of it. But we as a people got to first create those situations.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You create the situations to eliminate that barrier. Kind of deep. Well, I mean, this is on because we're talking about economics. We comprise 13% of America's population. They say that our spending power, and this is old because I haven't looked it up, but I think it was in 2004. They said we spent $80 billion on liquor alone as a people. They say we're the biggest consumers in society. So if we're the biggest consumers in society, let's flip the coin over. That means we got money to spend. Okay, now let's narrow it down. Power is twofold. Power is in the dollar and it's in the network. Meaning, what I mean by networking is that you pulling things in to make them work for you. That's what all powerful people do. Okay, how do we hurt the opposition? Okay, we can look back in history and see how the opposition was hurt. Economical wise, brothers and sisters did boycotts. They stopped spending their dollar where they wasn't wanted. Okay, I say that I love you, that you are my brother, that my love begins at birth. I don't think brothers understand that. My love begins at birth. This means I want for you what I want for myself. So if I'm in a position that is successful, then it's the responsibility of me to reach out and say, okay, man, I see that this brother's struggling. Let me help you get to the point to where I'm at. That way we can pull our resources together and help this brother get to the point to where we're trying to be. That way in other words, we're all eating. The object is to take us from A to B to C to D all the way up. And this allows us to maneuver in society to where now we can function as a bona fide, or we have land. We don't need the police over here. We police our own community. Can that be done? They're doing it. There's one in South Carolina. There's a community in South Carolina. They police their own community. I mean, we have examples. We have examples that where it needs to be done. But us, we understand that, but we got to get that understanding out to other brothers, to other sisters, to mobilize in that fashion.
Yep. I think we're at the hour mark too.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think also being as the topic being the structure of AVLN existing in a physical sense for the most part, I think there's a challenge put before us. Instead of us just having this podcast and leaving it as a discussion, I think this was a challenge more so for the people on here. We all aware of somebody that believes in the whole hard truth of the AVLN. So everybody on this podcast now, by the time we have the next podcast, let's bring some evidence of that with us. You know, and when I say evidence, I mean the people. Let's start formulating. Let's not just put this on here and then leave it there and on to the next subject. Let's get busy working from this point on putting that in motion. You know, wherever we may go. Yeah, let's get busy with that. You know what I'm talking about? There's a call into this.
Right.
Mike.
I guess we're gonna wrap it up on that. Today's topic was is Vice Lord a nation? And I guess we can say that the subtitle was, and if it is a nation, what are the components that make it a nation? And how do we see them components? How do them components manifest themselves to where it looks as a nation? And please join in for the next podcast. Next podcast will be not this Friday, but next Friday. And hopefully we can meet that challenge that brother Main C was saying. I don't know if brother's gonna bring other brothers on or what. I mean, make it be a surprise. And with that, I leave you as I came. Almighty.
Almighty. Almighty. Be of Allah.